Oh no! I just thought of something.
What's
See, I
that?
didn't know that you couldn't go live. You don't have 1,000 followers yet, do you?
I don't know. If I have to do
Maybe
it.
that's gonna prevent that. I never thought about that.
Oh, okay. It might just have to be an audio situation then.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Yep,
Well,
yep.
it's nice to finally meet you, but we're learning as we go. That's the best part about what we do anyway. So this is just a learning moment, I suppose.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we're growing and we're getting there, so it won't be long.
Absolutely. So awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and welcome everybody to Wellness Check. We're just I threw that little name together. I thought it was cute. Wellness Check Tuesday night. Uh, I am here with Jess Lopez. She is a transformative life coach. I'm going to let you tell her, or I'm going to let her tell you a little bit more about what that means in a little bit here. Um, Jess Lopez and myself. I'm Michael JoeJoe Jones, and we are here. We actually met here on TikTok. I'm on a journey of physical wellness, and she's on a journey of mental wellness or life wellness. I'll let her explain what she's here for. But we're both on journeys together, and a part of my physical journey has also been you know, working with my life and the changes that I'm going through and working on my mental health. And I came across Jess's TikTok channel and just very positive messages. And seeing the transformation that she's going through was very helpful to me, and it is still today. So I, jumped on inviting her into this live tonight that maybe will turn into something else down the road. Who knows? But welcome, Jess. And to if you would like to go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody that's watching and listening right now, I will give the live to you.
Yes, absolutely, Mike. Thanks so much for having me. I was so excited when you invited me on after joining your last. Just so much good stuff, and I can't wait to pick your brain. To start off, I'm Jess, and I live in beautiful Colorado. I'm the owner and founder of Sacred Harmony. That's a business that I started 3 years ago. And I offer virtual coaching sessions for anyone outside of the area and spiritual healing. I'm a holistic healer as well, so I offer energy work and I'm a Reiki master, level 3. So I offer those in-person sessions at my space here in Northern Colorado. Mental, spiritual, and physical wellness is an overall priority for me in every session, regardless of which modality we're using. So my passion is in assisting others through the process of life-changing transformation. So helping them reinvent themselves after adapting to major life change, or just through the process of changing and adapting to new situations and building new community, building new resources. So some examples of that might be something like divorce, significant breakups, family cutoff situations. In some situations, clients have been financially abused or controlled for so long, they're learning their way, how to manage those decisions, how to lean on community, find new friends as adults, setting boundaries, taking control back over their lives. Just some in situations, it's about reintegrating back into dating after being single for so long.
Yeah.
Um, for someone like me who spent the majority of their life in a corporate setting, climbing the ladder, but then wants to pursue a different direction, invest that time into themselves and starting their own business.
That's awesome. Man, you have a lot going on. I can't wait to hear more about all of that. So,
Absolutely.
no, that's great. So I'm Joe. Michael. I have a lot of aliases. So my name is Michael Joseph Jones. I go by JoeJoe to a lot of people. I was in the professional wrestling world for about 20 plus years. A lot of people know me as just Joe, so that's kind of what I'm going to go by here on out. It's but I'm going to answer to pretty much anything. I'm 46. I'm from Ohio. Right now, I work in an office setting myself. I work for a Merrimack appraisal management company. We're an AMC, so we manage residential and commercial appraisals. I'm kind of like a middleman between bank lenders and appraisers. So it's a very intense job, very busy at times, most of the time. But I do love what I do. I'm also a distributor for Unicity in the Feel Great system, which is what I'm promoting here on TikTok as of late. And that's something I can't wait to dig into a little bit tonight too. I'm just on I was struggling both physically and mentally coming into this venture, and I've had a lot of struggles in the past, gone through a lot of things, but now that 90 days into this, I'm feeling amazing, and I can't wait to just share with everybody what I'm going through, and hopefully, I can inspire some other people who are hurting in many different ways. Hopefully, I can inspire them to know that this is not the end all. So, that being said, Jess, why don't you go ahead and take a few minutes here and just kind of deep dive into your what brought you here? What got you to starting your own business, and give people a little background on yourself.
Absolutely, Joe. As someone myself who's been through quite a lot of life changes, I started off really young. I was raised in a very conservative household. I've done videos just talking about the extensive amount of, control and the way that I grew up feeling really restricted and just unable to flourish or become, my own version. I was married at 19 and I bought my first house by the time I was 20.
Oh my gosh.
I became a mom at 21, and by 26, I knew what it was like to go through 2 divorces, being a single parent, dealing with co-parenting, a newborn and a toddler.
That is a lot.
It is. And you add that on to the everyday stuff that, by someone who is at the age of 26 should have already learned about budgeting and balancing finances. And, for some of us, it's our first experience doing those things on our own.
Yeah.
And just for me to go as somebody who had been in relationship after a failed relationship, just trying to take the time to focus on the reasons why I was constantly trying to fill a void with somebody else, with a different person, for a void that I was experiencing inside.
Yep.
And I didn't always have a safety net.
That myself, but I'm 46, don't own a house, need to get a So yeah, we're going to talk after this.
And it's happened a couple times. And that's the problem, is it felt like so many situations I was building, tearing down, starting over.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what my resources were. I never had a safety net. I never had anyone teach me those life skills. I didn't have strong resources, great coping skills. I mean, I remember my own past conditioning taught me not to show vulnerability. Don't let other people see you sweat. And so, my own pride and ego a lot of times just kept me from reaching out for help.
Yeah, for sure.
But, I started to get to the point where I was tired of feeling like I was spinning my wheels and, repeating the same life lessons, same relationship cycles, different people, different years, same situation, same disappointment.
Right.
So when I got tired of hitting dead ends, that's when I started asking myself, despite what I think others' expectations of me are right now, forget proving myself to anyone else or looking to others for advice. What is it that I want?
Right.
I want a life that aligns with my truest self. Okay, and who is that? What makes me me, uniquely me? What are my true core values? And what is it that keeps me from expressing that in my work and in my relationship? So, I know what it's like to feel stuck. I know what it's like to feel lost or inexperienced for, in diving into new situations.
Right.
And I know what it's like to be alienated from the people that were making up the support system that you once had.
Yeah, you
And I know what it,
potentially have, 18 years of learning, and you could be learning the wrong thing and don't understand that. And, you believe in whoever's leading you. I don't want to just assume things, but, whoever your leaders are at the time, they're teaching you all these things that may or may not be helping you. And, somehow you have to find yourself in all of that. So
exactly.
that's amazing that you've been able to do that.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. It sounds like we both have. I know, and I just love seeing people like you, Joe, who have gone through the transformation of feeling stuck and unfulfilled to leading deep and meaningful lives where they're making time to pursue the things that matter to them.
Right.
And I love being there and helping them find ways to support themselves through that. A lot of people will take the path alone.
Yeah, because you feel safe when you're alone. You know what I mean? Like, so many times in my past, I'm a very open person, a very trusting person, almost too much. You know what I mean? And I think I've learned that over the last, few months as well. Like I'm now that, brain fog is a thing. I don't care what anybody says. You hear it and you're like, that's not true. You're just upset or don't like something or whatever. People have excuses for everything, but brain fog is real. And I literally over the last 90 days, I feel like this cloud of dust of just mental grossness is just cleared from my head. And on as far as my end goes, a lot of this had to do with the food I was eating, my diet, my lifestyle over the last six years. I was causing all that. So don't get me wrong. I don't think it was anybody else's fault or anything. I was making decisions that put that cloud there, but
Right.
but that's just it. I had and being alone was definitely an escape. You've been hurt so many times by so many people. You build up this brick wall where you're like, well, I'm going to do this alone because if I let so and so in, I'm going to have to do this, or if I call this person for help, I also got to deal with this.
Right. Right.
You know, and what is it that you do to combat that? You know what I mean? When you do start letting people in again, like what is it that helps you tear the brick wall down to ask for help? Without the fear of having to, have some kind of response.
Sure, sure. And, depending on the situation, for a lot of people, it's going to be the challenge of making new friends and building new connections as an adult.
Yeah.
So for so many, it's, these are the friends that I've carried through family or people that I've known from school. You go through certain situations. In my own experience, when I was looking to change careers, I was feeling unfulfilled at a job that I was at. I didn't feel like I could talk to my coworkers about that. I certainly wasn't going to go to my boss and let them know that, I wasn't happy and I was looking for other options. But
Right.
just being willing to reach out and look for guidance and meet with new people, experience different parts of yourself. What is it that you enjoy doing? And what are the kind of people that you're attracted to? What brings out the best in you? What do you have to bring to the friendship table? And really just embracing that, letting that be the thing that attracts people to you
Yeah.
and meet you at your most authentic. Who are the
And
people
so,
that are going to support you through that?
right. And what's the differences now between like where your boundaries are, like where prior to your transformation, your boundaries made like my boundaries were basically cutting everybody off. I was tired of being hurt. I have my, very close circle of friends that I would trust or, do things with or for. It was very easy for me to, anybody that would call and ask me to do something or ask for help. It was very easy to be like, no, I got something else to do and just cut people off. Even though there were experiences that I may have, I was closing doors before I ever looked through them, so to speak. And
Okay.
so what do you think are some positive boundaries that you've given yourself?
Sure. So my first thing is being okay with the fact that I'm an imperfect human. And we all go through challenges, and sometimes that means that I'm going to appear vulnerable. I'm going to be making mistakes in situations where I'd rather appear confident and experienced and all knowing, and that I might not be there at that time, and letting other people see that in me.
Yeah.
On top of that, it's like one of my top boundaries as far as dealing with other people is I don't show up for people who don't show up for themselves any longer. I've come from a codependent background, and that's why a lot of my relationships, it's like investing more into them, into what it is that makes them happy, because making the person in my life happy is usually resulting in a happier life for me.
Yeah.
But in that situation, it's like the relationship's over. You've lost your investment. In those situations, remembering who I am as it currently stands, I've taken a year off from dating. I've been focusing on myself and what's important to me.
That's incredible. That's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. I think it's a necessity for anybody who has struggled with codependency, put other people's ahead of themselves, said yes in situations where they meant to say no. Taking that practice of, it's okay to say no. Practice it. Practice. Once you stop people pleasing, expect that people around you will stop being pleased.
Yes.
It's part of the territory. And getting okay with feeling uncomfortable and having other people's disapproval.
Yep. No, I think that's great. Staying true to yourself is an amazing thing, and being comfortable saying no about things you don't want to do. When somebody calls you and says, "Hey, let's go have a drink," and you say no instead of going, because you know what's going to happen when you go. So why do you put yourself in that position? But
yes, and having the courage to tell them why not, right? I don't, I don't drink anymore.
Right.
That doesn't support, the lifestyle that I'm living now, and unapologetically doing so versus taking the more comfortable route and making an excuse or making up a lie as to why you can't be there. Standing up for what you believe in.
Yeah.
And letting other people know, these are my boundaries. This is who I am, and with me comes my companionship and my support, and I'll be there to lift you up when you're down, and I'll never pressure you to be someone that you're not.
Absolutely.
But in this friendship, I'm going to remind you of your power. I want to be reminded of mine, and I'm going to stay true to the things that are important to me.
That's awesome. No, that's really great.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, I know that we had talked before, and I know in some of your previous videos you've talked about a little bit what started you on your wellness journey.
Yeah, so basically, I don't know where to start. It's a long journey. The journey that is most positive is the last 90 days for me. Back in July, I was probably in the worst shape and worst mental state of my entire life. That being said, prior to 2017, it's not like I was, healthy then, but I was kind of like a functional alcoholic, so to speak. I was able to hold a job and be a father and do all the things and, work hard at my job. And, I still had a lot of bad habits. I wasn't eating good then either. I was drinking a lot, but I was functional. I wasn't letting it destroy my life. What I didn't realize is that I was letting it destroy my life just very slowly. And it led to, in 2017, I had a couple of traumatic events that took place. My stepfather passed away, and then I went through a couple of toxic relationships, and the course of those relationships, at the end of it, I had tried many different things to get out of the depression that I had started going through, but I had stopped working hard at work. I had started drinking more, stopped being a good dad more, like just, and nothing crazy, but it was like instead of leaving the house and going out and having fun, we just sit around the house and watch TV and play video games, just very unhealthy practices, but through all that, back in July, I was probably at my worst. I was literally in my recliner every night. I was in this really bad, awful routine of basically committing suicide with food over a long period of time. I mean, that's the way I look at it. I wasn't taking care of myself, not going to the doctor. I hadn't done it, which that's a whole other topic for another time. But still, I was very sick physically and very sick mentally, and not doing anything at all about it. And those are the things that this journey that I'm on, that I'm trying to change, and that I've actually been able to show myself for once that I can actually do these things if I put my mind to it.
Yeah.
Like I've been able to start feeling good, and because I've started feeling good, I've been able to change my habits. And that's what I want to share with everyone else, is that you may be sitting on the couch yourself right now, listening to this and thinking there's no hope, there's no way out, I'm stuck in this relationship, I'm stuck in this body. But you just have to start making the steps, and you have to do a little research, and you have to pay attention to the good people in your life that are trying to help you.
Yes.
People like Jess, just an amazing person, and transformation. Like, you live, watch these people and learn from them. I think it's amazing. So but yes, one day at a time, and that's what it was for me. I got a phone call one day from a good buddy of mine I'd known for years, who I had seen. He called me in July, and I had saw him like somewhere around August of the previous year. We were actually on a wrestling show together, and I was in pretty bad shape that night, and I think he knew that. But he reached out to me in July and said, "Hey, I know you're struggling. I've been on this system for a little while. You need to do this, whatever." And I had tried multiple diets and failed, and, because my brain wasn't in the right place,
Right.
I had that fog and that ickiness, and, I didn't care if I lived or died in that chair. It was just another, another way to just let life pass me by. I was canceling, family would want me to come over and see them, and I would just be, I'd make up all kinds of lies, friends would want me to come hang out at parties, and I didn't have the strength to say, no, this isn't what I want to do anymore,
Yeah.
So, and that's the two sides of it. One, I didn't feel like doing anything because I was destroying my body. And two, mentally, I wasn't in a place, to be honest with what I wanted and wanted to do. I was just this mess of grossness sitting there ready to pass. So but Jeff reached out to me, told me about this system. I jumped on it. And literally within like a week of changing my eating habits, my brain fog started to lift, my energy started to come back, and it was like a whole new person, was waking up every morning. And I just had this overwhelming strength. And that's what, like, I don't know how familiar you are with gut health and insulin resistance and all this other stuff, but
Yeah.
it is so important to be eating the right things, and like not overeating, stay away from those packaged foods. like but overnight, almost not overnight, but over the course of this last 90 days, my life has just completely changed. I've woke up, so to speak, and
Yeah.
it's
So,
just
question. I mean, you said, Joe, for years you struggled with poor eating habits.
yeah.
I'm going to go out and guess maybe a lifelong experience of people
Oh,
pleasing and
absolutely.
not setting boundaries. So,
No, I
what
had no
was it?
boundaries.
Yeah, what
No.
was it about that specific day, that specific phone call? What was that driving force that got you out of that chair? That
I think literally it was just the fact that I knew that I was either going to die, or I was either going to die or I was going to make this change. And the biggest thing that made me made me believe that I could change was seeing Jeff and what this had done for him. Like I said, I had seen him back in like August of the previous year, so only the course of a few months, and I had seen him lose 50 pounds. And I was like, how did that happen? Like you see television commercials all the time. You know, I mean, you see the two guy or the DDP yoga commercial that's on all the time. You see this guy who's in terrible shape, and he works his butt off, and months later, and he looks great. But like, you don't know those people. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just another TV scam. It's another an act. You really can't connect with it. But Jeff, I knew personally, and I've known for years. You know what I mean? And it just clicked in my head that maybe there's an answer here, and I have to at least give this a try for my kids. My kids are my driving force. You know what I mean? Like even when I was at my worst and my most depressed, sitting in that chair, in my mind, I knew that I had to make a change. I just physically couldn't at times, and I saw Jeff's transformation, and I was like, if he can do it, I can do it, and I have to do it for my kids.
See, and that's the thing, is for me too, for a long time, when I saw other people doing the things that I didn't believe that were available to me, it felt like somebody trying to sell me a dream.
Yeah.
I like what you're selling, but it's not available to me. This is the laundry list of why it's not available to me. And that's, one of the leading causes of depression is just believing that the things that you want are not available to you.
Yep.
And it's like something that you've been battling your whole life. Now, all of a sudden, you're taking inspired action. You're seeing yourself do the things that you've never seen yourself doing.
Oh, yeah.
And what has that done for your self-esteem?
Oh, I feel so much stronger today to be able, like, I used to like not answer phone calls, not go to people's houses, and for a number of reasons, but it all comes down to the confidence, and believing in myself. When you feel like you're a liar because all you do is lie, you know what I mean? Like you have no confidence, like I didn't believe the things I was saying. It's easy to hide when you don't love yourself, and you just don't care enough about you. Like the love for my kids is only going to get me so far. You know what I mean? Like that's my driving force, but that's not going to make me be a good person and be honest. I have to do that. I have to be the one to say enough is enough, and this is it, and take chances. Once my confidence came back, it was all about, now I'm not afraid to say, no, I don't want that drink.
Yep.
I know that if I do take a drink, it's my choice. I'm doing it because I want to, not because I want to make somebody else happy. That being said, I'm doing my best to not do that anymore either, but that's a thing. I was drinking about every night of the week, usually about 4 to 5 nights a week. For like the last 6 years, I was probably drinking. Not always just to get drunk, but I was still picking up a drink. And now, over the last 90 days, along with all the other garbage I've cut out, I've drank 3 times. And that, to me, is amazing. Like, and I can
amazing transformation.
And I can even say that those 3 times, there was no peer pressure involved. There was I was like, I'm going to do this because I have a free night tonight, and I want to do something for me. But
that's just it. You stopped saying no to doing things for other people, and you started saying yes to doing things for you.
Yeah.
And the things that matter to you, like spending time with your kids.
Oh, yeah.
And you had that one motivating factor, that one inspiration to get you out of a chair and stepping into a new habit, incorporating it on a daily level. And it may have started off as a weight loss journey, but turned into just the overall wellness of more quality time with your kids.
Oh, yeah.
Less time doing things that you feel obligated to do, but you have no interest in doing.
Yeah. I mean, where my mental status was when I started this journey that day, I can't honestly sit here and say that I started that journey for all the right reasons. It was literally just I need to lose weight and look good and, feel good. and in this product, this all natural product that I'm using is actually it's not a weight loss tool, and that just happens to be something that's happening as a side effect to, the insulin resistance problem and getting myself to eat better and it's clearing up all the fog and all that other stuff. So like I had no clue that it was going to do what it's done for me, but it's definitely saved my life. So
Yeah, that's amazing. So, who do you recommend this product to? I mean, who's the one you're trying to reach right now?
I mean, I'm trying to reach anybody, I'm not trying to reach anybody who just wants to lose weight, even though that's what got me on there. So if you do, great. But I'm reaching out to the people who are feeling stuck, feeling hurt, feeling like there's no way out of the situation that you're in. You know what I mean? Like, I know that if you're sitting on your couch right now, upset at yourself for numerous things, I know you got brain fog going on. You know what I mean? I know you're not seeing life clearly. If you're obese, if you have diabetes, if you have, any number of health issues and think there's no way out, there's 100% a way out. Even people who are drinking on a regular basis don't realize that they're never, like when I was drinking 5 days a week, and more, sometimes it was more. But when I was drinking 5 days a week, I never, ever in those years gave my body a chance to reset. And our bodies and our minds, all of it, wants to be healthy. Like we have this amazing machine that doesn't want to feel bad, that doesn't want to feel dead and tired and wanting to give up. Your body is fighting constantly. That's why we have these problems, because it's like, wake up, you know what I mean?
Yep.
You got to
Right.
do something. You got to do something. And that's what's incredible is when you start feeding your body the right stuff and you start giving your body what it needs, it's going to heal itself and it's going to bring you back to life. And I'm talking to those people, the people who think that it's over, who don't think they have a chance in this world to get up and live life and be happy and not be depressed, and people who want to be out there playing with their kids, but they're too tired to get up out of a chair. People who want to go fellowship with their friends and family, but are scared because they don't know what's going to happen when they get there. There were so many times that I wanted to go do stuff, but I was afraid of certain things. Like I'm going to be a little TMI here, but going to the restroom in public or at someone else's home was terrifying to me for the last like 1.5, 2 years, probably even a little bit more than that. But
Yeah.
I just could not do it because of my, what I had to do to make that work for me at 407 pounds was not fun. It was not something that I wanted to share with anybody. It was embarrassing. And how do you tell somebody you can't come to their house because your bathroom's only this big and I'm this big, and there's just no way it's going to happen, But, and all of that stuff culminates and buries you and just keeps you down. And I know there's people out there going through these things, and that's who I'm talking to. That's who I want to talk to. I want to talk to people who want life change,
Absolutely.
And I'm rambling, so.
And so many people can relate to so much of that
Yeah.
as well. And just like you said, you may not have started for the right reasons or what you believed were the right reasons.
Yeah.
But what's the wrong reason to start a path of wellness for yourself? To just take a step in the direction that you want to be.
Yeah.
It has to start somewhere. And what a great example for you to set to reach those people.
Yeah. So, yeah. So, and that's, and again, like any step is a good step. So, and Gary, I will bring you on tomorrow night if that's okay. Gary's commenting there that he wants to come in. So, so now like that's where I'm at. I am why don't you tell me a little bit? I don't think we touched on that. Like you did a little bit, but like who are the people you're talking to? Like who should be reaching out to Jess?
That's anybody right now who's feeling stuck, feeling lost, feeling inexperienced through whatever the life change is that's happening. We're all going through different levels of life changes, but some of the things that I have personal experience and that I've helped others in experience, situations like divorce, single parenting and co-parenting after divorce, budgeting and balancing finances. I have over 8 years worth of experience in the finance and banking industry. I know what it's like to switch careers from a corporate situation to more of a spiritual healing.
Isn't it wild? Like a lot of the things you're talking about are things that at our age, a lot of people don't know, and
Yeah.
are like. Don't you think these are things people should be learning earlier on in life?
And I'm sure that's what they're telling themselves. I've
Yeah.
had people come to see me embarrassed. I've had one client who was a victim of financial abuse for over 17 years.
Oh my
And
gosh.
she didn't know which account her money was being held in, which banks, how to access it, how to check a balance. She didn't have any of that. And
Yeah.
so when she left, she was so embarrassed saying, she's 38 years old and she doesn't know anything about finances. She didn't know how to go turn on the utilities once, we got her moved out.
Oh
She
my
didn't,
god.
it was her first time experiencing so many things. And who do you go to later in life and say, hey, you know what? A lot of people learned this a long time ago, um, but here I am today, and these are all the areas that I need to improve to change my life.
Yeah.
Those are the people. Those are the people that I'm reaching. The
That's
people
awesome.
that are tired of learning the same lessons over and over again, tired of repeating the same relationship cycles,
Yeah.
or who are allowing other people, friends, family, to dictate the way that they're living their life just because they don't believe in themselves enough
Yep.
to stand up for what it
You
is
got to
they
believe in
want.
yourself.
Absolutely.
And it's hard. It's hard to get there sometimes. So, what are some ideas you would give somebody, who's struggling, who doesn't think that they can get there and make that first step? What do you think what do you think something small that they could do on a daily basis, to maybe get their get their head going in the right direction, so to speak?
Well, as someone who has experience working with clients and also resonates with ADHD, I would say one of the first things we do is we just break that goal down a little smaller. Can you put it into a more palatable size, something that you can actually reach now?
Yeah.
Not something for you to work towards, something that you can do right now. Because the moment that you set that energy into force, you put that effort into action, you've already started to rewire a part of your brain that believes that you can't do something because you're
Hmm.
already doing something
Yeah.
that you wouldn't have. Maybe this morning you woke up and you thought this was just a normal Tuesday, but now here you are making a commitment that you're sitting down right now to join a session that
Yeah.
could possibly transform your life if you were open to it.
That's awesome. Yeah, and it's funny that you say that because this popped into my mind as you were speaking. But like, I have a lot of big ideas, and I always have for my whole life. And up until now, like this moment in time, I can honestly tell you, and I'm sure anybody that's close to me can tell you this. I have crazy big ideas. I want to do them. I start them, and then I let anxiety and
Mm.
fear and everything else step in, and I stop and
Yep.
never commit. And that was my problem for many years. Like I would, hey, I'm going to make a movie, and I'm gonna write this movie and write this book, write this script, and make this movie happen. A few weeks into it, I'm going strong, and I'm like, nah, this isn't going to work.
Yep.
So like something that's I think before even making a step, something that was important for me as well that I would do You know, during that first week on my system, I didn't have the protocol, so to speak, yet. I had just started intermittent fasting and trying to eat better and whatnot. But I was telling myself every single day when I got up that I could do this. I was looking in the mirror in the morning. I'm brushing my teeth, and I'm like, "You can do this. You're going to do this. You have to do this." You know, I wasn't making any other actions. You know, I wasn't making any necessarily steps, but I was in my head, and I think that was really important for me, was telling myself, instead, when the little voices sneak in, it's only you, and them, and you can tell them what you're going to do. Would you say that's something important to do, is to, talk to yourself and be positive with yourself?
Oh, absolutely. And when I'm thinking of, the beginning first steps, I'm thinking about incorporating in those little daily habits of what are the sticky notes that you're putting on your mirror.
Yeah.
The first things that you're going to see when you walk into the bathroom tomorrow, instead of looking at yourself in the mirror and judging yourself and telling yourself you should be doing better. You're too much of this. You're not enough of that. Looking in the mirror and staring back at the message that you decided that you needed to hear that morning.
Yeah.
Something that's going to keep you motivated, because I'm sure that you can relate to this as well. I don't gain inspiration from guilt, from shoulda, woulda, coulda, or from criticism from other
Right.
people trying to shame me into being a better person by making me feel like I'm not good enough now.
Yep.
So why would I do that to myself?
Yep.
We're looking in the mirror and we're taking away what you should be doing.
Yeah.
And we're talking about why you want to be doing that thing. Why it's even coming up for discussion. What is it about that you're really after? Do you care about losing weight? Because personally, I don't care about you losing weight. I care about you improving your health so that you can be there with your kids.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I want you to feel like you can be out enjoying life the way that you would live it if this wasn't a situation in your life.
Yep.
That's what you're going to need to envision. That's what you're aiming toward.
Yeah.
Is a new way of life.
I just think that's such a powerful thing there, like untethering yourself from your mind. And I just stole that from Michael Singer. I don't know if you're familiar with him or not.
Untethered soul.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Oh my God. I just started reading it, but I've been listening to his podcast for the last couple of weeks, and that is something that is just, you're in, even when you're alone and you're beating yourself up in your head. You eventually you have to realize that you're in there with all these thoughts and terrible things that are a culmination of your lifetime of experience. Like think about that for a minute. Like,
right.
How wild is that? You may be in a toxic relationship and you get out of the relationship. Maybe you're lucky enough to get out of it before it's too late. But the memory of that toxic relationship never leaves. Like, it's always there. And something was said during that time that you beat yourself up over, Yes. And you've got an entire lifetime of that garbage in there.
Yeah. Well, and neuroscientists have proven that our subconscious thoughts make up 95% of our actions.
Yeah.
95% of our actions are determined by the thoughts of all that year's worth of experience. And if most of it has been in a life that's no longer working for you, with people and beliefs that are holding you back,
Yeah.
then it's time to start rewriting that and transforming your life for the better, making changes, taking inspired action, and then reaping the benefits of that, bringing back power and control and just ownership over your life again.
Yep. Ownership. That's so important. All right. Well, I don't want to cut us short. We're having a great time, but I do want to open it up. I think we've lost a few people, but if there's anybody out there, Trudy, I know, thank you so much for commenting tonight and giving us some positive reinforcement there. You're amazing. If anybody out there has any questions for Jess or for myself, if you guys have any questions, ask away. I was going to write down any questions I saw. I really didn't see any down through here. Let me scroll real quick and see if I missed anything. And Jess, if you want to throw out there what you're offering people and how they can get a hold of you, why don't you go ahead and do that?
Yeah, sure. So I I like to start off with a discovery call. That's just going to be a 45-minute virtual session where I get to get some background information on you, what it is that you're looking for out of coaching, which area of your life you're looking to transform, and what level of importance it is into what effect it has on your life now. So those are all things. If you go onto my booking site, you can visit that at calendly.com/a-sacred harmony/discovery call. And I know that that's a lot. I'll put it in the chat as well.
Yeah, I'll share it all. I'll share all your links and spots on my social media tonight too. So
Okay, perfect, perfect. I mean, typically programs are going to come down, from anywhere from 12 weeks, 6 months, or a 1 year program, just depending on the level of transformation and on the level of urgency,
yeah,
your level of commitment. So that would all just depend. We're talking about, where you're at currently on the path. So much to take into consideration, but those are all determining factors in our call, and we can discuss details, but I like to personalize each plan.
awesome. That's great. That's awesome stuff. So awesome. Thank you, Jess, so much for coming on here. I'll throw my little pitch in here real quick. The system I am on is the Feel Great system. What I'm doing every day is I drink a tea instead of having breakfast now. I'm intermittent fasting. The system that I'm on basically keeps me burning fat all day long as opposed to burning sugar from eating all day long. Like they tell us all the time that you're supposed to eat 6 meals a day and eat all day, and I think there's some truth in that if you dig deep. But the truth of this matter is intermittent fasting is a way to let your body reset and give it the break that it needs. Especially if you're not eating the right food and you're not eating the right way. We're meant to eat a certain way, and we're not taught to do that. We're not supposed to eat all this processed food that they rip all the fiber off of. If you look at a grain of rice, for instance, a grain of rice has bran. Like everything in nature has fiber, and they rip the fiber out. You get the sugar and the starch and all that other stuff, and it tastes good to us, but it's slowly killing us. So anyway, I'm intermittent fasting. My fast is a 16-8 fast, which means I fast for 16 hours, and then I give myself an 8-hour eating window. In that 8-hour eating window, I eat twice a day. I do absolutely no snacking. And the way I do that is by curbing my cravings. And the first product that I use is the Unimate. All three of these products are $5 a day. The Unimate tea has chlorogenic acid, which is what helps me clear that brain fog up and is what is giving me the energy. It's making my mood, putting me in a much better mood in the morning instead of being a old grumpy fat guy going to work every day. I'm now a happy, jolly guy, that's getting skinnier. But this tea helps. I literally have cut out breakfast completely. I'm no longer drinking, sugar-filled coffee and donuts and, McDonald's sandwiches. I was able to, just change to this tea, and it's been effortless, which is what's amazing about the product. You do it, you're consistent about it. It's going to work for you and not against you, and it's going to change your whole life. But, then I'm going to have my 2 meals a day. Before I have my 2 meals a day, I'm going to drink fiber before each meal. I drink one before my lunch, one before my dinner. And what that's doing is it's going to turn into this gel netting that sits in your stomach. It's going to make you feel a little fuller. But one of the best things about the fiber is fiber. If you eat fiber before you eat your protein and before you eat your starch and before you eat your sugars, it's going to trap all of that bad stuff, and it's going to keep you from getting an insulin spike, a sugar spike. If you're overweight like I've been, every time I ate food, every time I ate pizza or anything with sugar or carbs, when that stuff turned to sugar, it had nowhere to go. Like my insulin was spiked all day long. So all I did was store fat, especially when I was drinking. That was the thing too. When you drink, it takes your system and makes it all wonky, and it's never doing the right thing. But, so that's the system, guys. You can check out my other videos, and I go into it a little more detail. I'm not going to be long-winded here. But if you want to see the program, if you want to sign up for the program, see more about it, if you hit the little circle profile, that's circle profile here, it's going to take you up to my profile page. On my profile page is a link. If you click the link, all the information you need is there. One of the best things about this is you don't have to do the system alone. Just like with Jess's help, you're doing it with somebody. You have help. You have coaches. I will be your coach along the way. You're not buying a product and then seeing if you can do it yourself. You have me constantly at a DM or a phone call with any questions that you may have. I'm there, I'm there to walk you through the hard days and tell you, hey, you can do this. You can't put a price on that as far as I'm concerned. But that's the link. If you guys have any questions, please hit me up in my DMs and we'll talk then. So, Jess, is there anything else you want to share before we go tonight?
That all sounds great. And just like you said, once you're taking ownership of your life and you're making those daily habits part of your new transformation, you're losing weight, you're feeling good in your skin, doesn't always mean that you're adapted to that new version of yourself, that you're ready to show up and express yourself in the way that you've always wanted to. Just because you're looking your best doesn't mean your confidence level is quite there yet.
Right.
And so when you're looking for that integration back in, give me a call, book a session. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the next step. What happens next?
Yep.
Thanks so much for having me, Joe.
Hey, absolutely. Hopefully we can do this again. We might, we're going to talk after the show here, and maybe we'll get back on here and do this again next Tuesday.
Yep, sounds great.
So awesome.
Have a great night.
You as well. Thank you so much for coming. And thank you, everybody out there who stuck around with us tonight. And I will see you all again soon. Much love.